Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. With folks, looks like we got some more beef out there that's percolating, and this may surprise a lot of people because I didn't even know that this was something that was going down. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, I had heard some murmurs about Stephen A. Smith making an announcement on Wednesday, which was yesterday, Wednesday, about some new deal or new project that he's doing. I knew nothing of it, right? But I knew that he was making an announcement, and I think he foreshadowed it on ESPN First Take. So that happened. So I woke up this morning looking for what to talk about, and frankly, I didn't see much. Then I came across a post actually on my Instagram featuring some comments that Michelle Beadle made, former ESPN staff Michelle Beadle, about why she doesn't respect Stephen A. Smith and all of this. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I then went to their website to see what exactly they were talking about. And essentially, there's some drama here because it seems like Stephen A. Smith took Michelle Beadle's job. It says, Michelle Beadle on losing SiriusXM slot to Stephen A. Smith. I don't respect him. Says Beadle admitted that there's no love lost between her and former ESPN colleague Smith, who will take over her weekday afternoon slot on SiriusXM radio. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. This is a story that we need to get into. But before we even get into this report here, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into what this report had to say, what this article says. It says, it's a reminder. We're just all pieces of S to someone. If you forget it, there it is. If you forgot, there it is. That's what an unplugged Michelle Beadle told FOS about the troubled state of sports media after learning that Stephen A. Smith was taking her time slot on SiriusXM radio. The outspoken Beadle was surprisingly good-humored after a rough Wednesday. On the other hand, she was still peeved about being blindsided by the news that Smith was taking over the Mad Dog Sports Radio time slot held by her and partner Cody Decker for the last 2 years. On the other hand, she said it was cathartic to be able to share her side of the story immediately while communing with her loyal listeners. It was sort of therapeutic. I thought we did a pretty good, cool show for 2 years, she told FOS. On Wednesday morning, Smith broke news on the Howard Stern show that he was returning to Mad Dog Radio on September 2nd with 2 new shows, a weekly show from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time that will replace Beadle and Deckler's program, and a weekly show covering current events, pop culture, and social commentary. Leading up to Wednesday afternoon show, Beadle says she figures she was either going to be replaced by FS1 host Danny Parkins or punished for slamming Knicks owner James Dolan, who fired coach Tom Thibodeau. Instead, she read the Smith news in the Hollywood Reporter. During her show, she joked that Thibodeau was given more of a heads up by the Knicks. The Hollywood Reporter comes out, and there's his face. I was like, I should have known. That was just kind of gross, she says. I don't care that we're being replaced or what have you. It happens all the time. But a little respect Would have been nice. Good Lord. I was totally blindsided. Just really embarrassed, to be honest. Beadle admitted that there's no love lost between her and Smith going back to the Ray Rice video in 2014. At the time, Beadle rips Smith for his controversial comments on domestic violence on First Take in the wake of Rice's violent assault on his now wife. Wrote Beadle on Twitter back then. So I was forced to just watch this morning's First Take, and I'll never feel clean again. I'm now aware that I can provoke my own beatings. Smith apologized and was suspended for a week. The two have been at odds ever since, according to Beadle, the former co-host of Get Up, who ended up taking a buyout from ESPN back in 2029. I don't respect him. I don't respect his work. He doesn't like me. This goes back to the Ray Rice stuff. He made some really piggish comments on the air. I responded. He got suspended for like 2 weeks. I think that was sort of the beginning of the end for everything, she says. I just don't respect him. I think he gets things wrong all the time. I'm not talking about opinions. Those can never be wrong. But factually, when you spread yourself so thin, it's hard to be right. Not a fan. Over the last few years, Smith has introduced old radio colleague Chris Mad Dog Russo to legions of new sports fans via his weekly appearance on the blockbuster First Take morning show. Host Molly Karam calls his What is Mad with Mad Dog bit every Wednesday her favorite segment on the show. Now Russo is returning the favor, hiring Smith for his radio program. And then I'll just read quickly what Stephen A. Smith said. To say that I'm excited would be an understatement, Smith said in a statement on Wednesday. I've been on Mad Dog before, had the time of my life, so I'm loving the fact that I get to reunite with my guy Mad Dog on his turf. Beadle said she'll report to work on Thursday. Her current contract runs through August, but she expects to finalize a buyout before then. She won't go off on a rant, but she won't avoid the Stephen A. Smith story either. We'll show up. We'll have a hockey game to react to, a basketball game to preview. I can't help the callers. I'll be honest with you, they're crazy. So whatever happens, happens. But we won't entice them to do it, I guess. And then the article says a few other things. What are my thoughts about this? Okay, Michelle Beadle's not happy with being blindsided. Who would? Right? Who would? I guess this is how things usually work out. And I guess this section of corporate America where people are blindsided all the time. I guess so, because the way that she's speaking, it seems like she would have wanted a little bit of like a heads up, like, hey, we're planning on doing this. But this isn't the first time I've heard this. If you go back to the cord cutting that they did at ESPN a few years ago, when they got rid of people like Max Kellerman, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, I think a few of them are blindsided, right? And I think it's something actually that happens across the corporate world. Just look what happened with Tom Thibodeau. Look what happened with Mike Malone, right? Some people are going to give you a heads up before they decide that they want to let you go, and other people are just not. Now, in terms of her commentary on Stephen A. Smith about how he's always wrong, I just don't like him and all of that. Look, people are entitled to their opinion. Stephen A. Smith has not hid his feelings about the fact that he's not a fan of many people in media, Jason Whitlock or whoever it is he doesn't like. So I don't think that we all have to be fans of one another, right? People hold grudges. At the end of the day, these are still human beings. No matter how they may appear on TV to be like these mythical figures. Oh my God, that's them. At the end of the day, they're human beings. They work and they all go to work in office places. People don't get along. You look at sports teams. Not everybody gets along in the locker room. I mean, it just is what it is. But to see how vocal she is, I'm not surprised though. This is how Michelle Beadle generally handles her business. She's always vocal about things that she's not a fan of. And then in this incident is no different. So these are my thoughts on it. What I want to know from you guys, where do you stand on this situation? Do you think it's just par for the course? Do you think SiriusXM should have given her a heads up? And what do you think about Stephen A. Smith going back to do radio? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.